she shows him around the museum, and there's this very cringe attempt at just referencing Lovecraft with no sort of effort or anything. She's like,
okay, so this is the war exhibit, obviously. Lovecraft is on your left, and the toy exhibit is down the hall.
Yeah, no, independent filmmakers are working really hard to make it actively embarrassing to acknowledge Lovecraft's existence.
The appraiser shows up, and my God, this man is jacked to the fucking gills.
He's a hefty man.
He is not just appraising ancient statues, he is lifting them.
He is sculpting them by punching them with his bare hands. This man is shredded. Just absolutely shredded. And he's like just bursting out of his clothes.
Absolute unit.
Yeah, his suit is not containing him. And he brings Casey into a room and he's like, oh, this is a Jack-in-the-Box. You know, the origins of this are disputed, and it's all script nonsense, but where you put the actual thing that it is at the beginning. Oh, it was Victorian era, but then it's like, but some people say it was made by the French.
Crafted by Bagul.
It's crafted by Satan to hold demons.
Yeah, the devil himself made these and gave them out to small children in Sumeria 5,000 years ago.
Right. And, you know, again, the first thing I thought of when these appraisers started talking about a box that keeps evil in was a Dybbuk box of that Zach Baggins has in his haunted museum.
The Dybbuk box is believed to be a container for pure evil, in the form of a malicious possessing spirit from Jewish mythology called a Dybbuk. The box may have the power to control thoughts and emotions.
And that he opened. 2 for 2, baby. Ghost Adventures references off the chain.
Yep, no, both museums featured on the hit television series, hosted by very real, competent person, Zach Bagans.
And not Con Man.
I would prefer if that was hosted by the jacked appraiser, who then tells Casey, just like, yeah, you know, it's a Jack-in-the-Box. Whatever, man. And then that scene kind of ends, and so he goes on a website looking for a demonologist who the appraiser brought up, and it was just like every other horror movie. It's a scene of a guy looking at a computer screen and reading the details out loud.
Name, Yakistamara, Jack. Type, demonic clown. Height, 6-7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's in every single one. Oh, I'm going to type in this vague term about this problem I have. Look at all this Jack-in-the-Box lore. Oh, convenient.
Well, yeah, he types in demonologist Maurice, because the only thing that the appraiser can tell him is that the guy's name is Maurice, and he's still able to find them, which is kind of a stretch.
Oh, yeah. This is like one in a very long line of scenes of just like opening up the AOL search engine and typing in Jack in Box and then going, oh yes, a huge amount of evil lore that's been going back for decades. That happens in every movie like this, because it's just like, I guess you have to incorporate the internet in some way, but it's like, I don't know why he didn't just like have like a phone call with the guy he's gonna have like the full conversation with later or something like that, so that guy's more of like a character.
I think we should probably start calling we're probably gonna come across it again, the internet search scene. We can just call those a Bagul scene.
Yeah, it's just the Bagul,
because Sinister is what, like, you know, kind of made that a staple in horror movies.
Yeah,
and Bagul's a funny name.
Everything. It specifically made me think of the Bye Bye Man. And
you can do it in a way that's kind of funny. I mean, I like in Get Out, when he's talking to his friend Rod, and his friend is like looking it up. It's funny because that character's funny, and it kind of like plays on that trope a little bit.
Yeah, but they're
that's-
always like that's an exception, but the vast majority of them are just cookie cutter scenes. It's the same exact thing.
I just want to
yeah.
underline that it can be done well.
Yeah, if you put a
Yeah.
spin on it.
And not just extremely flat exposition told through just reading words on a laptop.
Yeah, and well, he doesn't even like gain any new information really from that.
No, it doesn't help him out at all. It just is like, yeah, this thing's evil and might have existed.
It exists. Other people know about this box.
It's just a repeat of the scene with the appraiser, the Jack the Appraiser. He goes to the old man who, like, in every scene like this, is the guy's like, I'm not gonna talk to you, but the box, and then the guy turns around and is like, oh, I know what you're talking about.
Did you say the box? Yeah, no, they're all similar to the like internet thing. All of those scenes are exactly the fucking same.
Well, this has one distinct difference, which is most of those scenes, the guy goes like, you got like 30 seconds to impress me. But he's like, you got like half an hour.
You're thinking of the other one.
That's because the scene happens twice.
Yeah, the scene happens twice. So,
well, the audience now knows that two identical scenes happen. So, that's important to know. I just want to note that I do find it funny that guy's wife was murdered and his life was destroyed by this box. He just kind of dumps it off at the museum.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like trying to get rid of it or destroy it or burn it or something, he just donates it to the museum for the next unwitting dummy to open and unleash upon the world.
Because he finds it in the middle of a field, which was bad on the the person who had it before him. Bad move there. But then he doesn't even do that, and that's like the bare minimum.
Oh, yeah. No, like, the bare minimum, is covering it with an inch of dirt above its surface. While, this man just dumps it off to a public location to go, whatever, we'll see what happens. At least it's not my problem.
Usually with, like, curse-type movies, there's, like, a reason you need to pass it off. Like, it's part of your deal with the demon. Like, in It Follows, you have to fuck someone else to give them the fuck demon.
Oh, yeah, no, normally it'd be explained as, like, oh, this thing will leave me alone if I give it more people to feast on. But that's not how this works.
Or, like, horror classic Truth or Dare.
I needed to find someone with friends that I could trick into coming here. I could tell Olivia was an easy target. I brought you all up here because I'm okay with strangers dying if it means I get to live.
Where they have to pass the game off to someone else.
All the tropes that, are necessary to, like, establish a logic aren't there, but all the tropes that are just, like, padding for time are there, and it's just... This movie would be a lot better if the focus was put onto different things, I guess. Yeah. It's so close to being just like... I mean, it is, like, base level competent, but it could have been, like, kind of good, honestly, if it just...
Yeah, I agree.
Honed in. So he goes to the demonologist and starts asking about, like, the rules and everything, and the guy's like...
You must perform a ritual. Once a Jack's heart is weakened by the end of a blade, only the spoken word will send it back to the shadows where it was made. Bestia ad inferos.
You have to keep it trapped in the box until the years run out, because every time it kills someone, it gets 3 years that it can just freely leave the box.
Right.
But that's so many hats on so many hats.
We can point out quickly that this is the scene that's the exact same as the scene that we were talking about before with the old man who originally found the box that Aaron thought was... this is the scene where he's like, after loosely agreeing, after being convinced, he's like, you can have 30 minutes to talk to me, sure. Instead of like, oh, you got 5 minutes, bud, make it quick.
Yeah, it's the appraiser, the old man who people think he killed his wife, and the demonologist could be ramped into 1 or 2 characters instead of the 3 as they exist in the script in its final state.
No, everybody gets so few scenes besides the protagonist to be anything. Like, you really just want to crunch some of these characters together so they, like, have meaning on any level.
Crunch the budget, too. That's less actors, less mouths to feed.
Yeah, because no, every character shows up for that scene that they're in, or maybe 2, and then they're kind of done.
And they're out of the movie completely, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have, like... How to improve it is less characters and have them have some sort of defining quirk. And then you can pull a longer scene out of them and maybe even have some jokes. So, yeah, and then the last thing the demonologist is like, this won't be important at all. He's like,
Be careful. You have to get it right. It would only take something as small as a piece of its clothing, a severed claw. Anything left outside of the box while performing the ritual, and it won't work. If you leave anything behind, Jack will come back for his chosen victim.
put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. The demon fights him, but he stabs him, not in the heart like the demonologist said, but it still works anyway. He stabs him in through the cheek or something, and he starts getting sucked into the box. And then he says the Latin phrase to seal the box. But as the door is closing, if you here's where that demonologist line comes back.
Be careful. You have to get it right.
The door closes and his claw comes out. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to it later.
You mean like exactly what he said?
It would only take something as small as a piece of its clothing, a severed claw.
No. This is... Okay, guys, if you're going to take a Film 101 course, you don't need that. Watch how this movie set up and paid off that concept. It's perfect and subtle.
Severed claw.
You
Subtle,
don't need
yeah.
anything else.
And here's where I'll put a clip of him just saying demon claw 5 times.
Severed claw.